Welcome to Backyard Gardening Australia. It is December now, and I thought I'd take you for a tour of our garden to show you how it is going and just a bit of an update. We have had some hot days here. We had a large spell of heat in November, but other than that, the weather has been actually not too bad, around the 30-degree days with cool overnights. In fact, this morning I'm actually wearing a jumper because it's quite chilly out here this morning. But I'll now take you through our garden and show you how it's going. The mandevillas have started flowering, and it looks like there's some buds on the very back one there as well. Our little curry tree has taken off again. I thought I had lost it. We've still got plenty of little violas. I planted some portulacas the other day, flowering down here. I gave this section a large prune back the other day as I put in this shade sail post which disrupted the garden. I also planted some zinnias. Our Mexican blueberry is taking off in size. I'm amazed how much it has grown in the past year. And they have started to dry off and die a little bit, but there are some little blueberries there. I'm keeping a very watchful eye on our donut peaches because it won't be long until they are ready. In fact, I'd say within the next week. Now the heat is here. The agapanthus have started flowering. The salvias are going wild, and the bees just are loving them. I'm not sure whether the transplanted ice cream bean tree will recover again, but it got severely burnt in the last heat wave, and I'm very doubtful if it will recover. I'm not sure what we will plant here if it does die. The Tamarillo over here, still going great. Surprisingly hasn't got burnt this summer yet, which I thought it was going to, but plenty of flowers. I this year gave it a hard prune, which has kept more foliage in closer to the plant, which I believe has helped keep it cool and stop it from burning the leaves. The cornflowers down here are just about done, but still flowering. Loads of olives on the olive tree. The peas are still flowering away. And sweet peas here. And we'll be saving a lot of this seed here for next year. This salvia here has started to flower as well. And then over here, the tamarillos, which I planted earlier this year to make a little tamarillo hedge here, have started to grow quite nicely. The middle one down there is suffering pretty bad for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but I plan to come in and give them all a bit of a prune at the base to give them a bit of clearance. The passion fruit vines have started to grow quite well. And as you can see, I tend to put a lot of mulch and food around the base of the banana palms as they are heavy feeders. The frog pond's a little low on water at the moment, but I came out the other day and I noticed the taro, excuse the harsh sunlight, has this nice flower. Looking forward to it to fully come out and flower and get a decent photo of it. There's the second flower hiding in here. The dragon fruit has gone absolutely bonkers in growth. I have not seen any little flower buds yet though. I have harvested most of the corn from over the back here. A fair bit of this corn was very small and there was a bit of rat damage within this corn. This corn crop was a little bit disappointing. To be honest with you, this garden bed always seems to, I'm not sure what goes on with it, but there's something lacking in this garden bed because it always seems to do quite poor. Down here we have some pumpkins, and yes, they do look all scabby and wrinkly, but they're supposed to. They are called gluedines. I believe that's how you say it. But there is a fair few pumpkins on this one. We got 3 here, and there are more scattered. I can see another one over the back there, scattered within this area, and quite frankly, they've gone absolutely wild. White aspen seems to be doing okay. Looking forward to it to grow out and cover a bit more of the fence and provide a bit more shade. And I have also decided this week there is a tree called a jabotica, I think is how you say it, which is a grape tree they call it. We're planning on planting one in this garden bed here to sort of give us a bit of protection from the alleyway and to provide a bit of shade up in this area. The asparagus bed is gone wild as per normal, which is good, which means we should be getting plenty of energy back into those crowns. These liliums are flowering. They keep getting attacked by our children. They love pulling the flowers off, but I love having the kids in the garden as well, so I hope they enjoy playing with them more and more. With that hot spell we had a lot of the carrots bolt, as you can see, but underneath these bolted carrots are a heap more carrots which are loving the shade and out of the heat. And as you can see, we also had a beetroot there bolt. The zucchinis here are still growing crazy, picking plenty of them, and I picked some beetroot the other day, but we still have plenty of beetroot growing in this bed. In this bed here we have golden Detroit beetroot growing. We picked a couple the other day. We also picked some fennel, which we're going to have with nice roast pork belly tonight. Looking forward to doing that again. The raspberry plant over the back there, I did not get any raspberries off of that one. I believe I remember the variety, which is Thornton, I think, but I'm under the assumption that it's going to require extreme low chills, and it's probably its last year here, and we'll change it out for something else next year. But I'll do a bit more research and try and find when I bought it. Now for tomatoes. I started off by having a nice neat prune tomato patch, and we went away and we got sick, and well, now I have a tomato patch that is loaded with tomatoes, but it's just a bit of a you could say a bit of a messy tomato patch this year. Is what it is. I'm not too fussed because I'm not sure if you can see, it is absolutely loaded with tomatoes in there. Oh, there we got one turning pink in there, which must be one of the pink ox hearts. I will come back through and just prune a little bit of this under foliage out just to allow a bit of air to breathe. And this wild patch of a garden, which is, I'm just letting go wild, is literally wild. Sunflower there, just finished. We've got a bunch more climbing up here. This, like I say, next year will be turned into a veggie patch, but I'm just going to let it grow wild for now. The Jap pumpkins are also taking over, which I always knew they would. They always have, and there's some lettuce seed in here which we will pick soon. I haven't seen any Jap pumpkins on yet, but usually within the next month they start. We also picked one of the rows of corn out of there yesterday. I think we got about 40 or 50 cobs. I lost about 10 of them. And I've kept all the old stalks because when we change this garden bed here and raise it up, I'll be burying all that stuff underneath. We still have a couple of quinces on. I haven't been too worried about all this fruit and fruit trees this year because I don't want to go out and buy a net for it, as the net I used last year was destroyed, and then have to go buy one the year after because it's not going to work up the back. So I've just decided to leave it is as it is, and we'll worry about doing a better job next year for all of it. The Davidson plum has plenty of little flowers all over it. It flowered last year, but it flowered too late, so we didn't end up with any fruit. Hoping this year we'll end up with some fruit to make some jams and just try in general. The lily pillies have just started to flower. As you can see, there's a bunch of bud there ready to burst as well. Over here, some people call them the native Christmas tree because most times they flower around Christmas time. This is from the other side of that tomato bed. As you can see, they've just fallen over and gone absolutely crazy in here. These are our heritage raspberries, growing very well. They seem to have loved this shade, which is brilliant. Looking forward to these in autumn. This here is our other tomato bed, which are San Marizanos. I had a look in there the other day and it is absolutely loaded with little tomatoes everywhere. There is some damage in there, which is pretty normal. Oops, excuse trying to find them. But yeah, we will start probably picking these when I see a few more ripe, and we'll pick them for 3 or 4 weeks is generally what happens, and then the bushes die off, and that's our canning tomatoes done. Heritage raspberries are an autumn flowering raspberry. Well, are they? I've just noticed we've got a bunch that have decided to flower and ripen early. I'm not sure what that will mean for autumn, but hopefully it'll flower again in autumn. I need to keep an eye on it because I didn't realise that they were. If you have a look at this youngberry plant, this is the result of, we got one nice berry there, but a lot of the berries died off. A, because of the heat, and B, I let too many runners on the plant, and basically there wasn't enough moisture to support the amount of berries it had, and it just had heaps of small berries because of not pruning it. So this year we'll be pruning it. We'll keep 5 or 6 litres, and that's it. The transplanted plum trees are looking good. Plenty of growth on them, which is great. Hopefully it means we might get some plums next year. The Trombonica pumpkins are doing very well. There is a stinging nettle plant that has come up in the middle of them, which I'd like to deal with, and I need to get rid of that passion fruit runner, which is right there. The native peanut tree has got flowers on it again by the looks of things. I need to go in there and give that a prune, but I probably won't do it till next year because it's just going to be too hot. They're predicting a very hot summer here, so just let it be as it is for now. Passion fruit vine has gone absolutely bonkers, which is great. This is a grafted passion fruit. I don't tend to buy a grafted passion fruit because of the runners, the runners they put out everywhere on the ground, but I have, and I'll just have to deal with it. I haven't been down this way for a while and just noticed something has happened to the pepino. It is looking very sad. Maybe the sprinkler has fallen out, I'm not sure, because it looks very dry. We will see. I will investigate further. This is the yellow cherry guava. It is just loaded with fruit all the way up. Really enjoy this fruit. Thinking about maybe planting a second one in a pot about there and do a bit of a wall, bit of a protection wall in the corner here. eggplants have started to take off, and then we got basil, more eggplants. Then we got elephant garlic here, silver beet, which I grow or chard should I say, which I grow way too much of. And this is the other side of the pumpkin and the corn. The corn is over my head height this year. Absolutely massive, and a fair bit of corn on. We've been having a bit of a drama with rats, so I need to start trapping again and try and get these rats under control before I lose lots more. There's plenty of fruit coming along on our citrus. Still got a couple of lemons on. Since I gave this lemon tree a hard prune, it is looking way better. Very happy about that. Don't see any fruit on this Washington Navel orange tree. Hopefully it did have flowers on it, but it dropped them all, so I'm not sure what's going on there. The pumpkins make it rather hard to get through the gate, as I like to keep climbing through it. There are beans that are doing rather well here, and the choco vine is going crazy, and I'm trying to make it climb up those black bits of polypipe. The two magnolias are doing rather well. I've shifted the mint and put it there because it wasn't doing so well in the full sun in this heat we're having. As I said before, we're having a bit of a rat problem, and there are 60 corn seeds there that have all been eaten. We have our first rock melon on for the year. This chili plant here is 3 years old. It came from my sister's house, and it's got a load of chilies on it again. Gave the chives a big haircut the other day. Hopefully it had a bit of like a disease on it, so I'm hoping that giving it a hard prune it will come back nicer and good again. Planted a bunch of sweet potato slips out the other day. In fact, 24 of them. Hoping that we get better results than we have in previous years. We haven't done so good. I'm not really sure why. This is the first time trying to plant slips like this, and I'm hoping we get way better results. We have decided to remove all of the berries from this side of the house and put them up against the back limestone wall. It just gets too hot, and as you can see, they are just burnt from that fence. They need some sort of shade, so we're going to completely remove them this year and put them up the back. And then this side of the house will probably get used for nothing other than the greenhouses and storage. We're also going to completely pave this side of the house. The aquaponics seems to be doing pretty well. A bunch of rocket seed coming up there. Basil. Tomatoes are doing really well. Plenty of tomatoes. There are some little... try and get it on camera. There he is right there. Cluster caterpillars around, doing a bit of damage, so just need to keep on top of them. Strawberries are suffering a little bit. I think it's keeping too wet, so I'm not really sure what we're going to do. One idea that I have is to mix 50% clay pebble with cocoa peat, and I think that will then help with the drainage. It's the bottom plants that are really suffering from this, so we'll see what happens. Loads of tomatoes on. This here is from me foliar spraying with a seaweed solution, just to give them a bit extra nutrients and to help them along. I think the wombok went to flower, just slightly. Notice there's a few beans on there. We've got one nice size one in there, and I can see a heap of other flowers. Cucumbers are doing well. We're picking them every other day. That wombok, when it comes out, will become a cucumber as well. We will plant a cucumber there, because I have no doubt that this cucumber's life will be ended soon. And our eggplants are doing very well over the back there. Plenty of flowers, so hopefully it won't be long. They will need to be netted. Tomatoes from caterpillars, it's gotten away on me a bit, but we try and bag them, as you can see over the back. Here's another example of bagging them. The corn I planted out the other day, I've given it a couple little foliar feeds. I think I'm going to need to add some iron into the system, but a lot of the new foliage is got some good green to it. Row of tomatoes were all supposed to be Tommy toes, but I'm not sure what's going to happen because we got a Tommy toe, but then by the time we get to here, that's a San Marzano. There's another San Marzano, and another San Marzano. The Tommy toe. Oh well, it happens sometimes. Not sure exactly what happened. Blueberries are finished and got a heap of new growth on them. I need to just go in there and prune to make sure I've got the right growth that I want on them. And other than that, everything else in here seems to be growing very well. The pepino, what's happened over here? Dry as dry, and there's the sprinkler. Sprinkler fell out. I need to stake it in there so it can stay better. And I just found this while I was out here. There you are. A native ginger, doing very well. Heaps of green shoots in there. The plan is this year will be to harvest and divide. So interesting to try it next year. The avocado tree, I just seen that might be our first avocado ever on it. This is actually not my tree, it's my sister's tree. She is traveling around Australia and we are looking after it for her. So I actually need to get my own established. I'll just do a little pan from our back patio of what it looks like, our garden. So we have the olive tree there and one entry up into the garden. And we have the wall of sweet peas, the veggie patch up the back there, corn. And as we pan around, you come across to a second gate, which you can enter or exit from the garden. Then you have the aquaponics area, and then back to our house. Then you have a paved area here, and a 5 by 3 meter shade sail covering it. I've actually been having some problems with our lawn this year, just in this area here and up to here. Every year it seems to dry out. This year we dethatched the lawn hoping to stop the problem, but it hasn't stopped it. I had to do something which I don't like doing. I tried aerating it, didn't work. So I tried using Eco Hydrate from OCP, and the lawn has come back amazingly. But I have been testing in some sections around the lawn, and it is dry still in a lot of places. Also, our citrus has been doing quite well over here with a bunch of new growth. So that is a Meyer lemon. That there is a lemonade, and I need to go in and prune that finger line, give it a bit more height and remove some understructure. And because of the aphids we had, we lost all of our fruit on the mandarin, but I'm sure we will flower again soon. I hope you enjoyed the tour of our backyard. We have just started picking the tomatoes, so produce will start coming in a lot thicker and faster. We'll try and keep on top of it. It tends to get away on us this time of the year, but we look forward to having more fresh produce coming in, and we'll have to start probably canning our tomatoes, no doubt, within the next month, and try and keep on top of that. We also will be buying a dehydrator in the next month, so looking forward to dehydrating some of this food and preserving it for the following year.